Hi, and welcome to Season 2 of Big Sound Small Town, the podcast that spotlights the talented and diverse musicians in small towns and communities. This season we're branching out to include the community of people who make it possible for musicians to be able to perform their music, the producers, the recording engineers, the venue owners, and many others, and as always, the small town musicians. Remember, small town doesn't mean small talent. Hear their stories. Today, Big Sound Small Town is coming to you from the Earl Scruggs Center in Shelby, North Carolina, and my guest is Jimmy Mckee. Welcome to the show, Jimmy.
Thanks for having me, Sandy.
We've known each other a pretty long time.
We're getting old.
Yeah, we are getting old.
Yes, sir.
Getting old. All right, well, you're here because you're a musician.
Well,
So when did you decide you were going to be a musician?
Well, probably in about the 7th grade when I really wanted to play music. That's when the Beatles
Yeah.
came around, but before that I was interested in, Arthur Smith got me interested in the guitar. That's where all that started.
Guitar boogie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting up in the morning watching Arthur Smith and the Cracker Jacks getting ready to go to school and hearing them play that guitar. And then on the weekends sitting with my dad and listening to Flatt and Scruggs. I guess that's where the bluegrass got in the blood. But
Well, you know, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes Arthur Smith came on 2 times. Sometimes he'd come on in the morning, sometimes he'd come on in the evening.
I think so, yeah.
He had a pretty good deal going.
Yeah.
He did.
Very talented musician.
Yeah, very talented. That's a good place to start. So what did you finally say, hey, I got to get me a guitar?
Well, my dad always had a guitar. My grandfather, my whole family played music. Grew
Yeah,
up,
you need to go into
my
that. My
dad had always had a guitar around, and he played and sung, and I just always had one there, and always just kind of played with it.
Right.
And then actually my aunt taught me 3 chords. My aunt, used to, the ladies played.
Right.
That's all the entertainment there was back in
Yeah.
the day. And she taught me G, C, and D. That's still about all I know now. But
Got a capo, man. What else you need?
she taught me that, and then my dad taught me how to pick the wildwood flower. And but then, in junior high school, I got with some guys. The Beatle thing came out, and
Right.
I ended up going down the Sears Road, Buck and Shelby. My dad bought me a red Silvertone electric. Still have it.
Oh,
Little single pickup.
Did it have the
And,
amp in the case?
We bought that. Got a little amp.
Yeah.
I don't have it, but.
Right.
And the guys at school, Dickie Wellman, he's passed away now, but Tommy Mudd and Larry White, Dickie Wellman, and I can't remember, one other guy, we put a little group together and did the little talent shows at school,
Yeah.
playing the Beatles
Yeah.
music, things
Yeah.
like that. And I got into that I never played in a group, but I always sat around and played my guitar a little
Yeah.
bit. And then I got out of it, got into the dating thing and
Yeah.
kind of got away from music for quite a while, and then I decided to get back, got interested in it again, and I went up to Green Acres.
Oh, yeah.
Heard a little bluegrass and all
so
that
many-
stuff I'd heard
yeah.
as a child came back, and I went over to, I got with some people that played and hung out and went over to Horton Norris Brooks. And Horton showed me the G run on the guitar.
Yeah.
And I thought
Mr. Flat
I
run.
was Mr. Bluegrass after
Oh, yeah.
that. And I played and just enjoyed it. It's just been fun.
Now, during that time, did you put together a bluegrass band?
Well, after a few years of just getting together and jamming, we ended up having a group, Dean Jenks and myself and Steve Kaiser, and had a guy named Eddie Walker that was played with us, started a little band called Buffalo Creek Band. And we played for about 5 or 6 years, and then Eddie left. Ray Allison came and started playing
Right.
mandolin, singing with us, and Glenn Ward played a little during that time, played bass when Steve couldn't play. We played around for 5 or 6 years and just
All over the place.
had a good time. Yeah, it was mostly, I'd pretty much say we was a party band at that time. Somebody called up and had a beer and had a pig. And was
Right.
having, back then, the pig pickings and
Right.
needed some music, and we'd go make some noise.
That's a Cleveland County thing, man.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. We did a lot of that. Wasn't anywhere here to play like they have now. I mean, they got
Right.
venues here for the groups to go and singers to go, the musicians, and
Right.
we ended up usually Charlotte or Hickory or somewhere.
Yeah, that's one of the things people don't realize about bluegrass. As much as this is a bluegrass county, bluegrass town, there hasn't always been a lot of places for bands to play.
Right, we used to go to the old Prospector
Yeah,
over in Charlotte. We played there, and
They had a big bluegrass crowd there. That's a good place to
we
play.
enjoyed playing there. And there was a place in Hickory called Harmony Roads that we played at
Yeah.
some. But other than that, it was usually somebody's birthday party or a
Right.
pig picking or a cookout, 4th of July, something like that around town.
Yeah. Well, so you've been doing that 5 years or so. Why'd you decide to quit? Just get
Well-
tired of it, or just the band thing, like bands do?
Well, no, I mean, everybody, we were young and we all started getting jobs and careers. And Dean was
Yeah,
in
that gets in the
school, and
way. Yeah.
we tried to keep all that going, and then, of course, during that time, my wife got killed in an auto accident. Tonda got killed, and that just kind of put
Yeah, it
a
changed a
hurting
lot.
on me in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, and I just didn't, went through a battle with depression and stuff
Right.
after that for a while, and just didn't want to play.
Sure,
And,
I totally understand that.
I played at home, played the blues a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, probably a
And then,
lot. Yeah.
Dr. Bobby came back to Shelby and Dean, and some of them tried, I picked a little bit around with some of them for a
Right.
while, but I just never really got back into getting into a group or playing, and didn't get out. I remarried and had 2 children and started a family and just kind of got away from it. I
Yeah.
just played at home and played at church a little bit, and that was about all I did for a good while.
Then what changed to bring you back out playing?
Well, I guess the big thing that changed in my life was when Jesus
Yeah.
changed me, and that changed me. And I played, of course, you played with us some week. I played with a few gospel groups and just played guitar for them. They want somebody to play, and I'd play with them. And
Actually, you and Richard had a pretty good thing going with it.
yeah, we had a group in the midst, some of
Yeah.
the ladies and my brother and Keith Fortenberry
Yeah.
played some with us after that, and he filled in, helped us.
Yeah.
But we did that, and then I
Lot of
never
fun.
did really get into a group, and then this thing with the Bluegrass Church came up.
Yeah, tell me all
And,
about that, how that came about.
Well, during this time after giving my life to Jesus, the Lord, at an old age, I consider old age, in my late 50s, started calling me to preach, and
Right.
I surrendered to that call and went to school and studied and came back and was ordained as a minister. And Glenn Ward called, who was a pastor, called me and told me about, they had a bluegrass church in Statesville, and Glenn used to play in the bluegrass Buffalo Creek band with his
Right.
son. And he wanted me to come up. They were open, it was the first service, and he wanted me to come up and be there with them and share my testimony, how
Right.
God had changed me and all that, and I did. And then 6 or 8 months later, he called up, and there were some people around here were interested in getting a bluegrass church. And I didn't understand any of that at the time, and he said it was like the cowboy and the biker church people.
Right.
A lot of people that like bluegrass gospel music, and they just don't have it in the churches.
Right.
And there was a call for a need, and they were looking into doing it, and wanted to know if I'd be interested in helping or to being the preacher. So I prayed about it. As soon as I heard it, I thought, yeah, it's bluegrass, bluegrass,
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't want to do that for the wrong reason because,
I do
this was a
understand.
church. I wanted to make sure that's what the Lord wanted me to
Right.
do. Don't do it for the music, do it for the right reason. And about 6 months went through, we prayed about it and ended up doing that. And we went to South Mountain Christian Camp over in Kaiser and started having a meeting there
Is that where
twice
you
a
have,
month.
Is that where you have it now?
Now we're in a building now in Kaiser.
Okay.
We've started a church there now, but we went
So
there.
it's grown.
No, it's grown
Okay.
a lot. We went to the camp and met, and what we would do was have a bluegrass group, gospel group to come in
Right,
and
come
sing,
in.
and then we'd have a message, and then after that, we just had a little open jam session. And well, I got to pick again. I started playing,
Oh, yeah.
and that was interesting that I was getting to play some music again. I enjoyed it. And after that got started, I was inviting, when I'd run into the guys that I knew that played bluegrass, I was telling them about it, inviting them to come and help and pick music with us and come to church some. And saw Max Mckee and asked Jay Max about it. And Max came up and ended up staying 2 years with me, helping me with the music, helping with that. And so I got to play with him for 2 years. And that polished me back up pretty good on playing my guitar. And but that's just, it's brought a lot of musicians that I hadn't seen in years back, Vern Berry, people like that. And we get to play. And the church has grown. We do Sunday morning, Sunday night, and the Thursday night church service now. So I play Sunday morning and Thursday night. We have music. And on Thursday night, we have our service, and then after the service, we have an open jam session. It's all gospel, bluegrass gospel. It's a whole gospel, good gospel music. And a lot of pickers from Cleveland County, Rutherford County, Gaston County, Lincoln County, up Morgan. A lot of people I didn't know that love bluegrass come in and worship with us and play music. So
as you know, there's some fine players around.
It's very good musicians come in. It's really good. It's
that's one of the things I think. I don't even know if I can get across, but there are quality musicians playing there too. Not just, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with playing music with anyone, but it's always a uplifting thing when you have some quality people there too.
There's some very, there's beginners and there's, and the thing about it, that I've learned, and I've been out of the scene for a long time, but I keep up with music. I love it, and it seems to me like in the church thing, most of the people come in, I guess what you would say were Christians, or they're not the party kind of, and they don't really care if you're a beginner, or if you're good. They want it, and I've found this, and I'm sure you have. I try to encourage all the young people
I think you have to.
Of course, your podcast is for all the music.
It is.
I'm a bluegrass, old-time bluegrass kind of guy, and it almost died out, but it's made a great surge to come back, and the young people have really picked up and took off.
If you don't encourage young people, it will die off. It's what I don't. There's a group of shaggers who had that music for a while, and the young people aren't really getting on board, and that's dying a fast death. So so you have to have that. That is beside the religious part of it, you're keeping a style of music alive too, which I guess is all part of serving the Lord.
Well, the old time gospel music, and I know when I was first asked about this, I met with some some of the people from the church that was interested in supporting it and starting it, and they were asking about the bluegrass. And I grew up watching Flatt and Scruggs and all that, and I played some festivals and been around, and had the opportunity to meet some of the old bluegrass, Monroe and some of them, and they always had respect. I don't know their lives, but if you ever notice bluegrass groups, if they sung a gospel song, they took the hats off.
They did.
And that it was their old church music, and it meant something. And there's still a lot of people at our church are older people, but they like that kind of music. You don't hear it that much in the churches anymore. And I mean, we have church, we go and have a worship service, worship the Lord, but the music we do is the old time music, and we do hymns and all that. But when we do it with the bluegrass instruments.
Yeah, I was getting ready to do you have a choir?
We just started as a choir, but we use the banjos and guitars and fiddles, and we don't even have a piano in there yet, but I think we're going to get one for some of the stuff.
But you do have a choir.
We started as a choir, and it's like the old church choir. They just, it's like Max said, we do everything by letter. We don't know music. We just run back and let her go up there.
Yeah, that sounds like Max. Yeah,
we have. It's a good. People that like it enjoy it. Yeah, and I'm just thrilled to get to use my talent to do it and get to play music again. I mean, it's a good thing for me. And,
it is, and you found a place in your life that it can all work together. That's great. And opportunities for
a lot of musicians. I listen to a lot of your podcasts, and it brought back a lot of memories. I was telling you a while ago, listening to the Edmondson boys and all, and Jerry and those guys.
Right.
I used to be over at Oak Grove and
Right.
Dub Lovis and Clyde, those guys sat out under the trees when I was learning, Jerry picked, and then to hear these, they're not young guys no more, they're grown
Right.
men, but hear them on there telling
Oh,
what
yeah.
they're doing in the music, and it's just an interesting time, around here.
Well, yeah, Jerry played with the Lincoln County Partners for
Yeah,
all
Lincoln
those
County
years.
Partners played at my wedding.
That's where I was going with that. So
Yeah, when I remarried, Denise Harris, my wife Denise, we planned on having the wedding. We got married out at Landmark Church where I was going, and I said, "You plan the whole wedding, I'll take care of the music." I went and asked Jerry Edmondson. I said, "You guys play at my wedding?" They said, "We played a couple funerals. We hadn't never played a wedding before."
really,
I said, "It's about the same thing. I'm getting murdered." So, but they came and played, and it was nice to have them there.
yeah, we're in the Earl Scruggs Center, so we'll give a shout out to Jerry Edmondson, one of the finest banjo players you'll ever hope to find.
Yeah, it was a great one, and a great man too.
Yeah, and yeah, if you get a chance, he has sons that play music, and if you can check out, Oak Grove String Band is part of his legacy, I
Right,
guess.
sure
With Brian, and they do a wonderful job, and they're good people. Well, Jimmy,
I think it's exciting to get to, I listened to your podcast with Mike Lynch and
Yeah,
with
Mike.
Edmondson, Tom, and them, and don't even know those guys, but I keep up with their music
Right.
and things. But it's interesting to hear how that's going on. My son plays guitar, my granddaughter's
Right.
playing, and just trying to keep
Yeah.
that going. But we was talking about the music a while ago, Sandy, and our age group. You were talking to Mary Beth a while ago about meeting somebody that didn't know who James Brown was.
right? Yeah,
I believe our age group, regardless of the genre of the music,
right.
we grew up with the country.
Oh, it's great
the rock,
music.
the
Yeah,
blues,
yeah.
bluegrass. I mean, I don't think it'll ever be.
Musically, it's a wonderful time to be alive.
We saw the Beatles, we saw Elvis,
Yep.
we saw Monroe, Flatt and Scruggs, the
You can
Spanish.
Elvis. I mean,
All that.
you can pick. Yeah, I mean, just about anyone that in any kind of music that is famous, we live through that era.
Yeah, and to be able to share it. I mean, I want to thank you for doing your podcast because that's people like me that can come in and share their little bit. It'll live on and it can help.
Well,
Help encourage
Sure.
others.
to play it, and
Yeah.
these are stories that will disappear if somebody doesn't. I mean, it takes a person like you willing to give your time to keep this all alive. So it's there's so many good musicians in Cleveland County, and in a lot of the small towns around,
Right.
that they're every bit as good as the people who are rich and famous and go out and do it. There's 100 reasons why they live here and not doing that, but it has nothing to do with talent.
Oh no, I believe there's better talent sitting around in small towns than there are on the stages.
I totally agree.
I've seen a lot of them and met them, and I know you have.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not one of them. I'm just a mediocre musician, but I love it, and I thank you for inviting me and let me be a part of this.
I know you're a busy guy, and I thank you for giving me your time.
I appreciate it.
All right.